Hi everybody, this is Black Rhino Ranger, back with another birthday countdown animation thingy commentary. This time we're going to 2016, when I turned 22. It was the year I began the keto diet. It's a type of diet that requires very little to absolutely zero carbohydrates, which means nothing bakery related, like no cake, no cookies, no sweets, no candy, no sugar, no potatoes, no breadings, just mostly meat and most pure forms of vegetation, like broccoli or cauliflower. I do a cheat occasionally, but I try not to do it super often. It helps. It also contributes to the fact that I also have ulcerative colitis, which means I must not indulge too much in the quote unquote goodies. Anyways, what happened during that? What is my favorite TV show, animated movie, or video game that year? So, I never thought this would happen to me, but 2016 introduced to what is one of my favorite TV shows that's being current right now, The Loud House. A show about one boy living in a house full of sisters. One boy amongst 10 sisters. Now for me, I only have one sister, but at times I can relate with Lincoln. I sometimes see my sister as a bit of a Lori Loud at times because she's like the older sibling of our family. I also have a cousin on my mom's side who is of 5 sisters. And my grandmother on my mother's side was among 14 siblings, but she may have not met, or maybe or was it 12? I'm not sure. But she never met the other. She never met 2 before her family moved to China. It was only she only knows about 12, and of course you know that she passed away 2 years ago. Anyways, and in fact, I can relate with Lincoln. Like I said, it's quite relatable. It doesn't just focus on Lincoln. It does, or not just the Loud House members, and it also focuses on other families as well, like the whole world of Royal Woods and stuff. And they give each and every Loud House character some form of personality. Like Laurie is a bit of an influencer and is also a golfer. Lenny's into fashion. Luna's a rocker. Luann's a prankster. Lynn's an athlete. Lucy's a goth. Lola's a pageant princess. Lana's a mechanic that likes dirty things. And Lisa is a genius. And Lily's a baby. Before I thought of the Loud House, I actually had 2 more shows in consideration for being my most favorite, but the Loud House managed to beat them by a hair. It's Skylanders Academy because it has, well, Skylanders, which is one of my most favorite things, gaming related, and Milo Murphy's Law, which has my most favorite singer, Weird Al Yankovic, as the lead character. The honorable mentions I would think of is Mighty Magisword, which has these magical types of swords that have these weird powers. A little too fast at times, and it feels like it never really takes a break, but it can be fun to watch if you're on a super hyperactive mindset. Though, the less said about the creator, the better. Oof. And then there's Voltron, Legendary Defender. I haven't seen the original Voltron, but I decided to check it out because it was about to be removed on Netflix. Unlike She-Ra 2018, where I decided to look at the original He-Man, then the original She-Ra, then the 2002 He-Man, which I did see as a kid, and then the 2018 She-Ra, I went to Voltron Legendary Defender immediately because, again, it was about to be removed on Netflix. Technically, it's still available where I live, but I hear in other countries it's removed. I did see one episode earlier from one of my Weird Al videos. It's the one where they have Weird Al and Mae Whitman as mer people. Anyways, for my most favorite animated movie, it is Kubo and the Two Strings. Directed by Travis Knight, who you may also know for directing the Bumblebee movie, and one of the key people in charge of Leica Animations, which was formerly Will Vinton Studios, founded by legendary American claymation guy Will Vinton. He's also the son of Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, you know, those shoes. And I heard Will Vinton and Phil Knight have had a bit of quarrels with each other. There was a bit of a lawsuit I've heard about. But Kubo is like a story about, well, about story. Like tales that how to engage people in the story and how to end a story. Because also, not every story has a continuation. Some stories have to have an end. The Earth currently is a continuing story, but every person's story has to have an ending. Anyways, my honorable mentions would be Moana, a nice trip to the Polynesian islands, and some fun and catchy songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Zootopia, as someone who really loves anthropomorphic animal characters, seeing Zootopia nearly became my number one, but again, Kubo managed to beat it by a hair, but I was quite addicted to Zootopia by its themes and city world building and stuff. I think they utilized the animal aspect very well. Kung Fu Panda 3, which I believe is a nice way to end a Kung Fu Panda trilogy. I am aware that the fourth one was made, and I did take a peek at it, but I'll admit it's not as great as the first three films. But yeah, I still think it's a okay film. But again, Kung Fu Panda 3 would have been a solid way to have the franchise. They did say they wanted to make 6 movies, but I think there was a bit of a shakeup at DreamWorks. And we might get that 6, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. And this one's a last minute decision, but Ethel and Ernest. From the guy who brought by a man named Raymond Briggs, who gave us these snowman animations. You know, this very glittery art style, very paint on like animation with there's the snowman. You might remember the song "We're Walking in the Air." Da, 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 da. That's what he's best known for. Yeah, he once made a book that was based on the life of his mother and father, and I remember reading that book as a kid. And and when I heard it was being made as a movie, I want to check it out as soon as I can. It wasn't quite available where I live, so trying to find this movie was a bit of a tough one, but just recently I managed to watch it and brought a tear in my eye. I mean, it reminded, and the Ethel's life kind of reminds me of how my grandmother lived. And it is my tribute to Raymond Briggs, who unfortunately passed away 3 years ago. May he and his parents rest in peace. May he reignite with his mother and father. Anyways, what is my favorite video game of 2016? Skylanders Imaginators. As of now, the final console game of the Skylander franchise. And a game that gives you the ability to create your own Skylander, and for the first time in 8 years, we see the return of Crash Bandicoot in the console games. Before, the last game he was in is Crash Mine Over Mutants and a few mobile games, but Skylanders Imaginators was his first appearance since then. And then it would lead to other Crash games like the Insane Trilogy, Crash Team Racing Nitro Field, It's About Time, and Crash Team Rumble. Now, of course, Crash hasn't... Now, ever since then, Skylanders hasn't really been that popular. But hey, if they can bring Crash back into the mainstream, maybe Crash can bring the Skylanders back. I mean, they did guest appear Eruptor in It's About Time as a balloon, but I think Spyro has had his time as a guest character. Give him either a full game or guest appear the Skylanders in a Crash game. Him have again if the Skylanders manage to bring him back, let him bring them back. My honorable mentions are the Ratchet and Clank remake, better than the movie it was based on, and not as good as the original 2002 game, but again better than the movie. Street Fighter V. It has a nice addition of a story mode, not just for a long type of story mode, but also each character has its own individual story mode. And there's King of Fighters 14. Before the only thing I knew SNK related was Street Capcom versus SNK 2, and I did know a little bit of Samurai Shodown, but and I mostly played as that samurai guy. How was it? I've forgotten, but the reason why I got into King of Fighters 14 was because there was a dinosaur character named King of the Dinosaurs, and I decided to get that game specific for the dinosaur, and I also got to decided to also try and get into more of the other characters like May and Terry and the South America team, the Mexico team, etc. And finally, Dragon Quest Builders. Well, I've only played it once, but that's literally the only other game of 2016 I remember playing. It was a little Minecraft-ish, but that's about it, really. Anyways, so what happens in the animation? I see that I am just reading my book, and then there's Lenny Neld right next to me, and she says, "B-Day girl." And I said to her, Lenny, it's not your birthday. Oh, it may be in 5 days. This is referencing to the fact that Lenny's voice actress, Liliana Mumi, was born exactly 3 days before me. She was born in the same month, which is April, the same year, which is 1994, and just 3 days before me, which is on April 16th. So, and then I looked around, and there see Lori Loud, and she opened a letter for me. Again, isn't that kind of illegal? And it says here, "Happy birthday from Chloe DH1001. And what is my favorite snack?" And I tell them that I had a lot of favorite snacks when I was a kid, like potato chips, ice cream, gelatin, or jelly as the Brits like to call it, chocolate chip cookies, cupcake and chocolate cake, M&M's, Jawbreaker, a Twinkie, some regular chocolate, a gummy bear bouncing here and there and everywhere, nachos and bubble gum. Again, of course, I'm unable to overindulge on them because of my ulcerative colitis. Not very good for those who have not very carbs cannot handle carbs if you have ulcerative colitis. Best take pure food like meat or something. And apparently I got a little origami of a swan on my hand. And it's by Kubo, and as he plucked that guitar, it transforms. That's one of his powers in the Kubo and the Two Strings movie. Chloe's 1001 favorite show is, of course, The Loud House. Yeah, very simple. And here I am with Tri-Tip from Imaginators, and I got a visit from a character created by Chloe named Tack Tack Tick Tock and Took. And they sang, "Happy birthday to you, you live in a zoo, you look like a monkey, and you smell like one too." A bit of a Madagascar reference. So yeah, and also Chloe described the character as a some of them have a bit of a goofy voice or a rusty type of voice. And I tried to one of them I tried to do a bit of a Edwin impression, and one of them I did a basically my eruptor voice, and another is a bit of a poshy British type of voice. So yeah, that's my commentary on 2016. It may be over for the Skylanders on the console games, but my journey in life continues on. I hope you've enjoyed this video.